Parliament, Friends of the Earth are absolutely crucial. They're a campaigning force, they educate us, they inform us. Without them, so many things would have slipped off the agenda.
We've got the biggest crisis we've ever faced as a species, and we need organisations like Friends of the Earth.
I think Friends of the Earth is attempting to make changes for the better in the world, and that's something that I'm very happy to support.
The Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) are a set of 17 goals with 169 targets that all United Nations member states have agreed to work toward by 2030. They outline a vision of a world without poverty, hunger or illness. The Sustainable Development Goals seek to be relevant to all countries, whether poor, developed or middle income, in order to increase prosperity while also preserving the environment and combating climate change. We have chosen 3 related Sustainable Development Goals for our program, which are Food Sovereignty, SDG 2, Climate Action, SDG 13, and Human Right Dependence, SDG 16. For SDG 2, it is to ensure that everyone in the world has access to enough high-quality food to live a healthy lifestyle. For SDG 13, it is to take immediate action to fight climate change and its implications. For SDG 16, it is to foster peaceful, inclusive societies for long-term development, to ensure that everyone has access to justice, and to create effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels.
Friends of the Earth International was created in 1969 in San Francisco by David Browner, Donald Eaton and Carrie Sources, who worked together to protect the environment. Friends of the Earth International is an association of environmentalists and conservation whose goal is to avoid the use of the Earth's resources in a sustainable manner. This program includes 7 sustainable development goals, but we only focusing on 3 sustainable development, which are food sovereignty, climate actions, and human rights defenders. Friends of the Earth International discovered problems in the struggle for sea and biodiversity. As a result, Friends of the Earth International has developed some programs to assist people in terms of food sovereignty. The members of organization are mobilizing throughout the world to advocate for the speedy transition to a sustainable, fair and resilient food system based on ecological principles through campaigns and projects. The approach to ecological founded on the idea of collaboration with the goals of mobilizing support for the major shift in the way food is produced across the world. Friends of the Earth International collaborate closely with the small-scale foods produced, consumed and local community in rural, urban and coastal area, as well as their representing, and they also support global movement of small-scale farmers. Friends of the Earth International has come out with numbers of solutions to the global climate crisis. According to the Friends of the Earth International, change must occur in a fair and equitable manner by using a climate fair share strategy. Friends of the Earth International's manifesto for an equitable transformation of our energy system, People Power Now, is based on the 10 demands. It is the result of years of debate, study and movement building with the members of organization and alliance on every continent. Friends of the Earth International has published the People Power Energy Manifesto now to look at the 10 demands for a people powers and just energy system. Each demand describes a positive step that will enhance the transition to a more climate just future. The program of People Power Now get a lot of support from the other countries, such as the protests in Paris. Friends of the Earth International continue to deepen their solidarity works on this problem at the national, regional and international level. They work together to enhance their collective resistance to breaches of humans and environmental rights. They attempted to respond quickly in cases of violation or violence in accordance with the requirement and wishes of the endangered community in order to bring criminal to justice. Friends of the Earth International works to avoid violence by collaborating with local organizations and communities. For example, as in the case of Israel violence of Palestinian human rights, Friends of the Earth International give their support to the Palestine.
Now let's move on to the benefits of the programs done by Friends of the Earth. For climate action, the program made is People Power Now. As you can see, the program itself have many benefits to describe with, but let's just stick to one, which is demands made benefits all. In the demands that have been listed by the Friends of the Earth, we can't deny that the demands are carefully researched and well analyzed. It is due to the fact that they have also included the effects from the demands towards the people and also the environment. In short, most of them request for some improvement or new sustainable energy in which would not take any bad effect on the climate change. We could see these days, for example, motor vehicles are packed in each country, especially in developed ones like India. And with that high volume of carbon dioxide being released every single day without any filter, influential parties like government and also NGOs should take further actions and encourage people to take into consideration on choosing the best sustainable energy power to avoid any effects from climate change like the one did by the Friends of the Earth for the People Power Now.
Furthermore, through this program, it can value the food providers. Women, family farmers, herders, fisher people, indigenous people, and agriculture are all put values on contributing towards food sovereignty. As stated by the Friends of the Earth itself, they support the small scale of peasant and family farmers in opposing corporate powers that destroying their livelihoods and cause hunger and conflict to their communities. They assist the communities to reclaim the ownership of their land and seeds. For instance, on August 9, 2021, during the International Day of the World's Indigenous People, Friend of the Earth has recognized the vital role of indigenous people in growing and sustaining the global food supply. However, these people are still generally missing from major decision-making venues and still fight against land grabbing. But it was not too long for them to face the problem when the Friends of the Earth committed to working with the indigenous communities to defend their lands, maintaining ecosystems, food sovereignty, as well as preserving indigenous cultural practices and many more. So therefore, in this way, with the existence of this program, it can eradicate the rate of hunger around the globe in accordance with the second Sustainable Development Goals, where it goes is to get zero hunger.
The latest benefit we can gain from the program is the way Friends of the Earth International gave their support to the Palestinians. For example, on October 19, 2020, Israel Defense Minister Benny Gantz issued a military order labeling 6 Palestinian civil society groups as a terrorist organizations. These 6 groups are Adame, Al-Haq, Defenses for Palestinian Children, Union Agriculture Working Community, Center of Design Research and Development, and the last one is Palestinian Women's Union Community. Friends of the Earth International, support by the unsigned on behalf of their organizations, express unique vocal international solidarity with Palestinian civil society, and they demand the Israeli Minister of Defense and Israel Defense Force receive their recent decrease targeting 6 of the most prominent right-based organizations in occupied Palestine. Apart from that, Friends of the Earth International demonstrates their support of human rights defenders by denouncing all similar campaigns against the Palestinian civil society organization, and they arguing the Israeli government to immediately and completely resist its designation of these 6 Palestinian human rights organizations as terrorist organizations.
Increasing the number of solar farms. Climate change has been a serious issue not only in our country but throughout the world. NGOs have implemented a variety of reform programs in order to reduce the effect of climate change from affecting the planet. Increasing the quantity of solar farms is one of them. Our energy demands have always been mostly supplied by coal, oil and natural gas. Fossil fuels are finite by nature and they cannot keep up with the rising demand for energy. They are also big polluters. Solar farms also aid in the fight against climate change by distributing renewable energy. Solar energy uses the sun to generate clean, renewable energy that is good for the environment. Alternatives to fossil fuels reduce carbon emissions both at home and abroad, lowering global greenhouse gas emissions. Solar energy is known to have a positive environmental impact. When fossil fuels are used, greenhouse gases are released, resulting in rising global temperature and climate change. You may minimize demand for fossil fuels, restrict greenhouse gas emissions, and reduce your carbon footprint by adopting solar. Switching from fuel fossils to solar power reduces emissions by the same amount as growing 150 trees per year in the state.
In this program, we already know that in order to achieve the second goals of Sustainable Development Goals, which is zero hunger, Friends of the Earth managed to control the issues regarding foods and lands of the farmers by focusing and creating program based on the Food Sovereignty Program. But however, there are still things that are missing in this program, as it only focuses on food sovereignty, the right of people to reclaim their land and territories to produce more food, and they does not focusing on the nutritious and safety of the food that they produce. So in this case, we are suggesting for the Friends of the Earth to put more focus on the improvements towards food security, because food security helps to increase productivity and continuously provide food production. It also improves the nutritional recommendation through home economics program and improves the quality of life, especially in rural area through community development. The Friend of the Earth should put focus on the rural area because they are still facing the food insecurity caused by the poor governance and lack of institutional support. Food insecurity can temporarily occur during a crisis such as flood, drought, pandemic, and so on. It is frequently caused by an unequal distribution towards region, countries, households, and also individuals. But most importantly, they should ensure the food is nutritious so that no one is going to suffer to death due to malnutrition. For instance, on the latest rate of hunger crisis in 2021 this year, East Africa estimated about 7 million people who are at risk of starvation and another 33.8 million facing severe food insecurity. And according to the World Health Organization, 45% of death among children below 5 years old has been recorded death caused by malnutrition. Therefore, in order to strengthen the food security in Africa, we need to provide them with food assistance, including emergency needs and cash, as well as rehabilitating the land, as it will improve the harvests, and by that, they can secure the foods in the long term. Indeed, there is enough food around the world right now, where sometimes it was too much, but the poor will continue to be food insecurity if there is still no action taken.
conduct the awareness campaign on discrimination. Human rights is a program that emphasizes the lives of people around the world. However, the program receives less response from the communities around the world. It can be estimated that only 40% of those who dare to fight oppression. There are various ways that can be done to promote the struggle progress, such as holding a large-scale nationwide campaign to condemn the act of discrimination. Society needs to take action to protect those who suffer from the discrimination. For example, the problem of discrimination on that occur to the Rohingya community, who are mostly Muslim. They were forced to flee to several neighboring countries to seek refuge from the violence and persecution of Myanmar. By holding the campaign against the discrimination can give awareness to the world that the matter needs to be eliminated immediately. They can also march peacefully to express their thoughts and offer solutions to the social problem.
In conclusion, Friends of the Earth have done a very good job in applying sustainable development goals aligned with the objective in each program. The suggestion that our group have made before could also be a new idea that can be executed in the future to expand interest in programs like this. Everyone is encouraged to take part in the sustainable development for a better life without compromising the needs for the future. So that is all from our group. Thank you very much for your kind attention.